Today I'm going to show you my new strategy for running dynamic search ads in Google Ads. In my Google Ads agency, we use dynamic search ads on every single client account and to good effect. In my time, I have made over $100 million in revenue for clients on Google Ads, and dynamic search ads are always part of that strategy. In this video, I will first walk you through the setup for my new and updated dynamic search ads strategy. Later, I'll talk about how you optimize this campaign type weekly to ensure your account keeps growing and earning you more revenue. And hang around till the end, because later in the video I'm going to share with you a link to my full SOP document for setting up DSA campaigns in exactly this way. Let's cover the setup phase first of all. Before I dive into the setup, I just want to discuss briefly Performance Max. You may have heard that Google is recommending you upgrade your dynamic search ads campaign into a Performance Max campaign. You might be wondering if it's still worth doing dynamic search ads given that they are included in Performance Max now. My answer: yes, it is absolutely recommended to set up a separate dynamic search ads campaign, even if you are already running Performance Max. The reason is that when setting up your own dynamic search ads campaign, you'll be able to target specific parts of your website and write different ad descriptions that are actually relevant to that part of the site. That's something you can't easily do with Performance Max, and that's why dynamic search ads campaigns are always a part of my wider account strategy, even when running Performance Max. Alright, with that said, let's dive into the setup, and we're going to head over to my computer screen so I can walk you through it. Okay, so step one is you're going to want to load up a brand new campaign, so let's go ahead and do that here. Usually you're going to select either the sales or the lead objective, and in this case I'm going to go for the sales objective because this is an e-commerce account. You want to make sure that your conversion goals are correct, and in this account I don't actually want lead forms, so I'm just going to get rid of that and click continue. We're going to be setting up a search campaign with website visits. I'm going to put the URL in here. And then after we've done the URL, we want to name our campaign something that makes sense, and I normally name it like this. Now this is going to be a 2-campaign setup. We're going to set up 2 dynamic search ads campaigns. So what I would normally label this is search and then DSA, and the first campaign you're going to set up is going to be your targeted campaign, and we'll get to why it's called that in a moment, but for now call it targeted and click continue. Start a new campaign. And for bidding, what you want to do here is you want to focus on either conversions or conversion value, depending on whether you're trying to generate leads or generate e-commerce revenue. In this case, I'm trying to generate e-commerce revenue. So I want to focus on conversion value, and this bit is important. You don't want to set a target return on ad spend or a target cost per acquisition. So don't set a target, just set it to focus on conversions or conversion value, but without a target. And I'll explain why later on, but for now, let's just click next. Under campaign settings, this is going to be all your usual stuff. You want to untick display network. You want to set your country and location targeting correctly. Make sure you have the right language. Don't worry about audience segments for now. Keep broad match keywords off. Keep automatically created assets off. And then we can click next. And at this point, you don't actually need to create an ad group. We're just creating the campaign at the moment. So I'm just going to delete that and go to budget, and probably just ignore the crazy budget that Google is going to suggest. For your budget, you want to set something that is reasonably low for your account. The dynamic search ads campaign is not supposed to be a high spending campaign. It's supposed to be a relatively low spending campaign because we're going to use it mostly for discovery. So a low budget for this particular account I'm working in right now would probably be about £20. Click next. And then you do a little review. It's given me a notification here. I actually already have a campaign called this because I've set one up before. So I'm just going to add something there so it stops giving me that error notification. And at this stage, you'll probably want to review all these settings in here just to make sure that it is aligned with what you want, and then you can click publish. It'll say your campaign can't run. That's fine. We don't actually want the campaign to run just yet, because now we're going to come back into the campaign and then we're going to set up our dynamic search ad groups. So the campaign is now set up. What we now want to do is set up our ad groups. So this is the targeted campaign, and later we're going to set up a catch-all campaign. But for our targeted campaign, what we want to do is create ad groups based on the category of your website. So we're not setting up a standard ad group. What we're doing is setting up a dynamic ad group. So yes, I want to change the type, and you've got two options here. Google is going to auto-recommend you a bunch of categories, and sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it doesn't quite get it right. If Google has got your categorization of the website correct and all the categories that you see on here line up with the actual categories of your products or services, then you can use the auto-recommended categories from Google. But what I normally recommend doing is to skip the recommended categories and instead categorize the website yourself based on URL rules, which you create here. So create a new URL rule for specific web pages, and normally you're going to want to use a rule that targets a set of pages, and our goal here is to set up this campaign so that we have one ad group per category on our website. Now, this particular account that I am setting up in here is an essential oil client. They have a bunch of different essential oils. So I'm going to create one ad group for each category of products that they have. So the first ad group might be for their fragrance oils, which is one of the categories that we have in this account. So you want to name your ad group after the category, and then you want to create a URL rule that will target the pages within that category. So in this case, I know that if I target URLs that contain fragrance oil and add that, I know that this is now going to target all the pages within my fragrance oil category, and then I'm going to click save and continue. Next up, we are going to fill in our descriptions, and what you want to do here is write ad descriptions that focus on the benefits and USPs of the category that you are advertising, and then you want to end it with a call to action. So benefits and USPs, then call to action. Now I've pre-prepared something here, so I'm just going to copy it in. So paste in your ads and click done. Now we've created our ad copies, and we can click save and continue. By the way, if you would like to get the kinds of results that my team and I at Big Flare got for this client, or even this client, then head on over to the link in the description below. Using the form on that page, you can get in touch with me and schedule in a free PPC strategy session. We'll hop on the phone, discuss your challenges, and dive into actionable strategies that you can use to grow your revenue with PPC. All right, that is done. I have now created the category ad group for my first category, and now I'm just going to go and repeat the process for all the other categories on my website. All right, so what I've done here is I've just come over to a campaign I already had set up in this particular account, so you can see how it looks when it's actually fully built out. So when the DSA campaign that is labeled targeted, when it's fully built out, it should look a little something like this, where you've got one ad group for each category of product or service on your website, and each of the ad copies in here is specific to that particular category. And you do want to target your blog if you have a blog, because sometimes that can get like traffic and conversions, and it can surface pages within the blog that you didn't realize were going to convert but actually do. So when you finish setting up your targeted campaign, it should look a little something like this. One ad group for each category on your website. And when that is done, you then want to come back and set up the second DSA campaign, which we call the catch-all campaign. So let's do that quickly. So we're going to go sales objective again, and we're going to follow all the same steps as before. Create a search campaign, website visits, and we're going to name it differently this time. I'm just going to put number 2 there because I've actually already got a campaign labeled that. And now we're just going to do all the same exact settings as before, same bid strategy, same everything. So I'm just going to skip ahead now to the point where I've already done this. Okay, so here I am. I've created the catch-all campaign using all the same settings as before, just named it something different. And now what you want to do is come in and create your ad group. So let's go new ad group. And the idea of the catch-all campaign is that it just catches any pages on the site that might have been missed by your URL rules. So we can call the ad group catch all. And very simply, we want to target all web pages here. So this, as I say, is kind of our backup plan. We might have missed some pages on our site when we were creating those URL rules. So the catch-all campaign ensures that we've covered every page on the site. So let's click Save and Continue. Then you want to fill out your descriptions once again. And this time, because this is a catch-all, you want to put in ad copy that is just relevant to your whole business, because we don't know exactly which pages this is going to be targeting. It could be targeting our fragrance oils, our essential oils. So we have to put some fairly generic ad copy that applies to the entire business. So once again, I've pre-queued some stuff over here, which I'm just going to paste in. So you put in your ad copy, try and make sure you get some call to actions in the ad copy as well. At the end of the ad copy would be ideal. And boom, you now have your catch-all campaign. Now, there is one other step which I'm going to show you in the campaigns that I already had running in this account. So we'll just tab over to those. Okay, so here I am in my real catch-all campaign, not looking at that dummy campaign that I was just setting up to teach you guys just now. And what I want to show you now are the final finishing steps to putting together your dynamic search ads campaigns. There are 2 important final steps, and one of them is the negative keywords. So what you want to do here is you want to grab the full list of all the keywords you are already targeting in your search campaigns, and then you want to add all of them as a negative exact match keyword into both of your dynamic search ads campaigns. So add these negative keywords, every keyword you already have in the account, add as a negative keyword into your catch-all campaign and also into your targeted campaign. And the reason for that is we're using dynamic search ads as a discovery campaign. We're using it to quickly discover new keyword ideas that we haven't already thought of. And when it discovers new keyword ideas, we want to pull those keyword ideas into our normal search campaigns where we can get better performance out of them. So that's why we have a low budget on our dynamic search ads campaign. That is why we don't give it a target. We just wanted to spend a little bit of money and discover some new keyword ideas for us. And in order to make sure that the keyword ideas that it discovers for us are completely new, we want to add these negative keywords in here. And then after you've added the negative keywords to both your catch-all and your targeted campaign, you then also want to add some negative targets into your catch-all campaign, just into your catch-all campaign. So if you come into your catch-all campaign here, what you can do is you can add negative targets, right? And you want to use the exact same categories, the exact same things that you targeted in the other campaign, in your targeted DSA campaigns. You want to add them as a negative here in your catch-all campaign. The reason for that is that this is a catch-all campaign. It's just supposed to catch the things that you haven't already targeted. So if you have already targeted it in the DSA targeted campaign, then that's fine. You want that traffic to go into the DSA targeted campaign. It shouldn't be in the catch-all campaign. So add negative dynamic ad targets for everything you already targeted in the targeted campaign, and you do that only in the catch-all campaign. And then, as I say, for both campaigns, you're going to add negative keywords, and you're going to add the full list of keywords that you're already targeting. Once you have your dynamic search ads campaign set up this way, you're going to want to run it on a fairly low daily budget and set your bid strategy to maximize conversions if you're trying to generate leads or inquiries, or set it to maximize conversion value if you're selling products e-commerce style. As I said earlier, do not set a target CPA or a target ROAS. Instead, we're just telling the system to maximize your conversions or conversion value and couple this with the relatively low daily budget. Now, the whole goal of this setup is to use dynamic search ads as a discovery campaign. And what we're trying to discover are keyword ideas that we might not have thought of when building our normal search campaigns. So this campaign setup does not work if you are not checking your search terms weekly and actually learning from and acting on the discoveries it makes. So let's cover how to optimize this campaign on a weekly basis, and back over to my computer screen so I can walk you through the process. Right, so here we are back in my DSA targeted campaign, and this is what you want to do on a weekly basis every week to make sure you're getting the most value out of dynamic search ads. You want to come over to your keywords and look at your search terms. So now what you're going to see are the exact search terms that people are typing into Google that are triggering your dynamic search ads. And the goal here is basically to get all of the search terms that have a decent amount of impressions or volume out of DSA into your manual search campaigns where you can get better performance out of them. DSA is not a high performing type of campaign. You're going to get much better performance by moving these keywords out into your standard search campaigns and writing really good relevant ad headlines for them. As you know, or as we covered earlier, the dynamic search ads type has an automatically generated headline, which is not ideal for getting a high CTR and conversion rate. So yeah, dynamic search ads is very much a discovery campaign, and you're going to want to come in here weekly. And what I would do is rank in descending order of impressions, and then do one of two things. Either apply an impression filter. So one filter that I like to use is greater than 30 impressions past 90 days. And then I'm going to process all the search terms that meet that filter. Or another way to do it is to rank in descending order of impressions, and then maybe just look at the top 30. And this week I'll just do the top 30, and then next week I'll come back again and do the next 30, so on and so forth, until I do it every week until you work your way down the list and until you start not seeing so many high impression search terms in here. But once you've got this list of terms, whether you're filtering by above a certain impression threshold or whether you're just ranking descending order of impressions and looking at, say, the top 30, you want to come down this list and you want to look at every search term and you want to make a decision. Is it relevant? Do I want it in my account? Yes or no? Or is it irrelevant? Do I want to neg it from my account? So, for example, this keyword here, clothes benefits, that doesn't sound like a very commercial keyword. Also, it gets a really low click-through rate, and it's not doing any conversions for me, so I would decide no on this one. I don't want this one in my account. So when you decide that you don't want the keyword in your account, you want to add it as a negative keyword, and you probably just want to add it as a negative keyword to the entire account. So I would have a negative keyword list applied to all my campaigns, and I would call this negative keyword list something like, all account negatives, and then you can just add any negative keywords that are irrelevant to your business or you just don't think are going to work for your whole account. You see anything in here that fits that bill, you add it to that list and neg it from your entire account. On the other hand, when you see something like this, it looks relevant, this is something that we stock, it's getting conversions, it's getting a good return on ad spend, it's getting a good amount of impressions, then you do the other thing. The other decision you can do is to add it as a keyword. So when you're adding it as a keyword, what you want to do is, actually you don't want to click this button. What you want to do is you want to take this keyword out of here and add it as a keyword into your manual search campaigns with targeted ad copies. So if you've already got an ad group that this can fit into, then just add it into that ad group. If you don't have an ad group that this can fit into, then you're going to need to create the ad group in your normal search campaigns. Once you have taken this keyword and added it to your normal search campaigns, the next step is to then add it as a negative keyword into your DSA campaign. So we'll add it as a negative keyword here. And the reason for that is just to make it stop appearing in the DSA campaign. So once you've done this a few times, when I come back to this next week, the other filter I'm going to want to put on is this. Added excluded equals none. And then when you put on this filter, it's going to get rid of all the keywords that you've already made a decision on. Whenever you make a decision on a keyword, you're going to either add it to the account or you're going to exclude it from the account. And then that way, when you put on this filter and come back to this list next week, you're not going to see the stuff that you already made a decision on last week. So that's why you can do things like rank in descending order of impressions, do the top 30, do the top 30 this week, next week do the next top 30, so on and so forth. Keep doing it every week. Every week more terms are going to come up, so the work never really ends, but after the first few weeks you're going to get through a lot of the high volume terms. And yeah, do this each week. Look at this list and either add it as a keyword to search and then exclude it from your DSA, or if it's irrelevant, just exclude it from the whole account. Now, I promised you a link to my standard operating procedure, and here it is. All right, so here is my SOP document, how to set up dynamic search ads. This is a written document that me and my team use to help guide us in setting up dynamic search ads. And this is the exact process we use, the exact process I've just covered for you. You can grab your own copy of this document here. So just come to www.bigflare.com/DSA. And you'll get a nice handy copy of this exact document, which summarizes everything we've said. You can make a copy of it, you can save it into your own system, so you've got something to refer to, so you always know how to set up your campaigns and what to do each week in terms of optimizing them. Running dynamic search ads campaigns this way as a discovery campaign for your main search ads campaign is part of a wider picture. That wider picture is my whole account strategy. I call this account strategy the seed mining method. The seed mining method is a super powerful revenue boosting strategy, and it's what I use across all my Google Ads accounts, so definitely check out this video up here if you want to try it out.